So this is all really interesting with the line below and above. I'd like to be above it, but
wouldn't we all?
I'm nowhere near the line.
We actually are, Brittany. We are, because we're the hosts of this show, we are above the line. We're on screen.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I never get my wishes
You're an ATL.
So quickly.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to My Lawyer Friend. I'm your host, Ann Easton.
And I'm your host, Brittany Ledford. We're here to break down legal topics and lifestyle commentary with our lawyer friend, Ann.
That's us. Casual, informative, and always real. Now let's get into it. Before we start, the information, opinions, and recommendations presented on My Lawyer Friend podcast are for general informational purposes only and shouldn't be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. You shouldn't act or refrain from acting on the basis of any content included on this podcast without seeking legal or other professional advice. We are simply providing insight into our past professional experiences, and should you need legal advice, you can certainly contact me, or we can connect you with an able-minded attorney. So we have a guest here today. Her name is Heather, and she's my very dear friend and colleague, and we're going to talk about all things law and finance in the entertainment industry. And then we're also going to talk about what it's like being a woman in entertainment on the business side, as well as, being a woman entrepreneur and all those fun things that comes with it. Yeah, Britt,
I'm actually very excited today, learning more and more about Heather, a friend of a friend who's now a friend of mine.
Exactly.
And so impressed by her resume. I'm so excited that you let me introduce her.
I know.
Thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
So let's get to it. Heather is currently the head of production finance at Boat Rocker Studios. Nice. She brings with her nearly 2 decades of experience in production finance with a dynamic career spanning across major studios and groundbreaking projects. Mm-hmm. Prior to Boat Rocker, she served as a production finance executive at Fifth Season, formerly Endeavor Content, where she played a key role in several scripted projects, including the Emmy-nominated Severance. She also worked at AMC and Warner Brothers Television, overseeing accounting and finance across scripted productions. We could keep going, but it would take a while.
I know, right?
So, Ann, take it away.
Well, Heather's a badass, clearly.
Clearly.
Yeah, and I wanted to actually talk about the fact that you worked on this one film that I loved, Cha-Cha Real Smooth with Dakota Johnson. Mm-hmm. God, everything she's in, I kind of love. I can't get away from it. And I actually downloaded Materialist's, Celine Song's latest film to watch on the plane. And I'm very excited about it. So if you've seen it, don't tell me.
Lips are sealed. But her production company, Tea Time Productions, we worked with both at Endeavor or Fifth Season and Boat Rocker Studios.
Nice.
So
are they?
Dakota Johnson's big lover. Like we love her.
Oh, good. Amazing. So
That's
she's
so cool.
great to work with. Her production company's good.
Yeah. Awesome.
I've always wondered actually how many people do they have at those all these actors actually have these production companies now. Do they have a lot of people that work at this production company?
Staff?
On her staff.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, they have a head of production, a head of creative. Wow. Accounting departments, not so much sometimes. That just seems to not be the importance parts. But they do have definitely people dedicated. They're reading scripts. They're doing pitches. They're anything else any other production company. So yeah, definitely have staffs.
Very cool. I guess a question I could ask of you is, what types of questions would you be asking of your legal department if I was your lawyer at Boat Rocker?
Yeah. So I love my lawyers. Mm-hmm. And I especially love that you're my friend.
Yes.
It's very nice to be able to call you up and say, hey, I have this question, which typically is around how to pay people. Mm-hmm. And I'm given a contract, right? You guys will close your deals and I'll get the contract. And it's so vague and it's very
not legal jargon, right?
With that, don't totally understand what the nature of the actual deal is. Mm-hmm. So that's when I will call up legal and be like, hey, first of all, what's the intention here? What, like, how do you actually want me to pay this person versus what I'm reading right here on the contract?
Right.
So those are just typical, like, everyday things that I would come to legal with, because I can't understand really what the contracts are.
I know. It's very frustrating.
And then how to pay them based on what I know to be true with the guild requirements and what the collective bargaining statements say or agreements say, and then what's the nature of the deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to like reel it back to what happened recently was that the writers were striking because they didn't like the terms that the studios essentially had offered them. And that's why they go on strike, and then everyone in the industry doesn't get to work for like a couple of months, or it was longer. It was like one of the longest ones in history.
It seemed like a long time. And why do these studios hold out? Why don't they just give them what they want?
Because they're going to have to get, I mean, literally it requires a shift in the industry. I mean, like the money has to come from somewhere, right? So unfortunately, what happened is that because it's shifted so dramatically and so much money was like provided to the actors because SAG, the actors also went on strike, that the productions didn't know how they were going to be able to actually afford to produce projects.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why the whole industry is kind of in decline right now, and they're actually producing like 50% less productions.
And nothing's really happening in the United States anymore. Most of it's going out of state to Canada. The UK is a big one right now.
Yeah.
Italy.
Right.
Anywhere but the US because it's just too expensive to film here. And then obviously nothing really happening in California.
Right. It's a really
big problem.
problem.
Hollywood. It started here and we have no filming going on.
I'm from Georgia, and I know after I left, I was coming to the land of Hollywood. Not for Hollywood by any means. I was here for working in medicine, but in business. I shouldn't say I'm not a medical provider, but in the surgery world. And it was interesting because I felt like Hollywood moved to Georgia when I moved to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And
isn't that crazy?
It's interesting. Yeah, because after that, and I've never been involved in that industry. So it was really interesting to see that. And I would see the logo for the Georgia Peach logo at the end of all the credits. You know, because that was, I guess, were they getting some type of rebates or like tax credits?
That's why we're filming there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
And
it was like a really good rebate. It was like 30% or something.
And from an accounting standpoint, it was one of the, I don't want to say the easiest, that's not the right way to say that, but it was almost like everything qualified.
Yeah.
So producers loved working there. Crew loved working there. You can, a lot of states don't allow above the line, like New York didn't allow actors to qualify as part of their tax incentive, but Georgia did, right? So you basically you're spending half of the amount that you normally would if you were to film in somewhere like LA.
Yeah. Right.
And the rates itself are just lower, especially when it first started there.
Yeah.
Now like Marvel has a studio, Netflix has a studio.
Yeah.
And Tyler Perry had a big studio there when I was leaving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was the big one I knew about. Yeah.
Right.
And then the tax incentives changed, so they're driving people out too.
Totally.
It's changing. Always changing.
Just always changing. Okay.
So Britt, if Heather used like kind of a term that we use in entertainment, I'm having trouble saying entertainment. Entertainment. But she said something about above the line talent. What would you think that is? Like, because there's above the line and below the line. What would you?
I would think it would be A-listers, like the people who are highly like well known, have a lot of credits, and they're really like famous. They're good at what they do. Is that what that means?
Kind of, yes and no, because above the line is essentially the, like, if it's on a TV show, it would be like the recurring characters, the recurring actors. But it's generally the highest paid people that are on the film or on the TV show. And then everyone who's below the line, I mean, I don't know, heads of department are kind of also above the line. No, they're below the line. Oh yeah, so then I do heads of, like when I do production, I do heads of department stuff, and they're below the line. Yeah, okay, Thank you. See, like it's been.
So I look at it from the budget standpoint because the way most budgets are structured and you have your line producer, right?
Yes.
So the line producer is holding the line, right? So there's the above it and then there's the below it. So you're above it really, like you said, it's your talent. Yeah. It's your directors, your producers, your writers, your actors, right? Everyone that kind of essentially like the core people that you need to like make the creative of it. And then everyone else that falls below the line is your essential crew.
Your crew, yeah. I want to talk about the WGA, and basically we call in order to ensure that we are paying their writers properly. But in that process, they want to know everything about our project. And it makes us all very nervous because it could impact you down the line if you've paid someone improperly. If you have a question,
you're calling into the WGA, they always ask you, what production are you on? And then every personal question,
So this is all really interesting with the line below and above. I'd like to be above it, but
wouldn't we all?
I'm nowhere near the line.
We actually are, Brittany. We are, because we're the hosts of this show, we are above the line. We're on screen.
Wow. I never get my wishes
You're an ATL.
So quickly.
There you go. That was really fast.
That was fast.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier WGA. I want to circle back to that before we wrap up, and wanted to understand how you, Heather and Anne, interact with the WGA in your profession as it stands.
I mean, well, we interact with them a lot.
And I try to avoid them at all cost.
I know. So does everybody. And what's interesting is that the WGA has, like I mentioned earlier, they have a minimum basic agreement, which includes all of the different rules of, it includes like what rights these writers have. And then it also includes how to pay them and like what payment schedule they should be on. And based on a high budget, mid budget, low budget film or TV show. And it actually includes both, like the film and television. But I often would have questions that I refused to call the WGA because they tend to want lots of information from you. And like one of the first things that they do when you call is you say, hey, I have a couple of questions about how to pay my actor correctly on this one production. And they say, okay, what is your production? What's the name of the film? Who's your client? And what's your favorite color and your mother's maiden name?
So they won't answer your questions without you answering those first?
Yes. So so what they do is they say that they're required to ask those questions because they want to be able to give you the most accurate information.
Okay.
It's like, no, you don't. You don't need to know that.
I would think it would be a general thing for everyone, right? A standard for everyone, and it applies.
Yeah, because what they can do is essentially they then take note of the question that you've asked, and then if you pay the writer improperly, it's almost like putting them on notice that you might be doing something wrong.
Right. And that's my biggest problem.
And that's why we don't want to call. However, so it's really beneficial if you can find someone at the WGA on your side who will answer those questions for you. And what's actually happened at a lot of studios, like the bigger ones, that they have a guild department.
Yeah.
And it's usually of people who have worked at the WGA or at SAG. And the lawyers even go to those people, and sometimes they're lawyers, sometimes they're not. And I say, okay, well, if I have this WGA issue or I have this writer that I need to pay, but I can't tell if if he's, a producer, like a hyphenate producer, writer, like how am I supposed to pay him properly? And that's who you ask, is the guild professional.
Yeah.
Like everybody has their own little silo.
I also find it from a finance, accounting point of view where I'm paying people.
Yeah.
And at every studio I've ever worked at, and myself included, where it's my goal isn't to snub anyone of their payments. I genuinely want to pay somebody on time correctly every single time.
Yeah.
And if I have a simple question or hey, I just need clarity because again, these contracts are worded in a way notwithstanding foregoing blah 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 where I look at it and I get myself in a loop. So I'm like, okay, let me just call somebody and say, is this the intention of how this is supposed to be?
Right.
And then it feels like you're calling and then you get reprimanded in the question.
Exactly.
And you're but I'm generally, I just don't want to pay this person wrong. Don't you want your client to be paid on time?
Yeah, I just want to do this right. And I want to feel safe and I want you to confirm that I'm doing it right.
I don't feel safe.
I know. I don't feel safe. I know.
There's no safety.
You don't feel safe. And then what happens is you end up you potentially open yourself up to making mistakes. And that's a risk that you have to take because the WGA is so invasive.
But it's not just that though. There's a cost to it, right? There's a penalty. They love penalties.
They love to. Right. So then it would be a cost that the production has to take.
And to their client. And it's obviously nobody wants to pay anything more than they should.
Especially when we're trying to make sure that we're doing it right.
Well, do these standards change that often? I mean, you're telling me you have questions, and is it because the standards are changing so often that you really need to keep up with the trend or what's going on, and that's why you have to get that information? Because
I got a good story, but
I do too.
You go first.
I do too. Like, so partially, yes. So partially it is because it's changing so often, and we have to kind of decipher what those changes are. And someone has to go in there and actually read the changes and the language, because they change a lot of it. But the funny thing is I called once the WGA and I said, this is a bit confusing the way that this is worded. And they said, no, it's extremely straightforward. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's why I'm calling, right? Yeah, because it's extremely straightforward. And then I said something like, have you had this question before? And she said, maybe a few times. Yeah. Like, so then it's not straightforward. Guys, I know someone who works at the WGA, and she's really great. But I know that they're just doing their jobs, and they have a line that they have to toe as well.
What's your story? I'm interested.
Well, not like I almost forgot it. Wait.
Oh, sorry. Because you were listening. You were actively listening.
I was, and then I have ADHD, and therefore, it was. I think what becomes a challenge too with writers, and especially writer producers, is on the finance side, like we're not always given the information. So sometimes they'll call a writer in on set, right? And then, so theoretically then but like, let's say they're engaged in a writer producer capacity. So sometimes like we'll shift the payment situation around where I'm like, okay, now their services are rendered as like a non-writing EP for the remaining of the series, because they completed their obligations as a writer in the first 5 months or something, right? But then they'll be called back onto set, and then they'll be like they'll actually be performing writer services because they're on set watching their scenes happen.
Right.
And then later down the road, they'll somehow get some type of notification from WGA that they want to audit this particular writer.
Yeah.
And then they'll ask for all these different documentation, like the production schedule and this and the call sheets, because then they want to prove that writer was on set in the capacity of a writer, not just a producer, and then penalize the production for not actually paying them correctly.
Yeah.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of documentation has to happen.
It is.
And then I do it properly, and that's all on our shoulders to make sure that it's all done
and
properly.
Then it comes to, Heather, why didn't you pay them properly? I'm like, because I didn't know they were on set.
I didn't know. I didn't know that they were there. Didn't understand.
Girls, this has been really eye-opening for me. I think, it's been fun. And this is a great time to wrap it up for now. But we will be back.
We will be back shortly.
We have Heather here.
We have Heather. And we're going to talk about a lot of other
Heather's
stuff.
here to share in our discussion about women in business, women in entertainment, and what we all experience.
Stay tuned. We are back. And we are going to have just a chit chat about the Me Too movement and kind of where we are at now in terms of the entertainment industry.
How long has it been, Anne? You're saying the Me Too
Me
movement?
Too?
Yeah, it's been years.
It was before COVID. So it was before 2020. Yeah. So like maybe 2017, 2018.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's where we are with it.
Yeah.
7 years later. Where are we?
Where are we? Harvey Weinstein is in jail.
Harvey Weinstein is in jail.
Big time prison.
Heather, where are we? You're in it every day. Where are we?
You're in it more so because you're at a studio, but I think that well,
I guess the question is in what capacity, like on an everyday interaction with your inner departments where you're dealing with different sexes, or what's happening actually on set?
More so that's what the question is, I think. Yeah. That's where most of the litigation was essentially.
But it wasn't though. It was most of it was it wasn't on set. It was how you got to set was by doing these activities.
Exactly.
Right? So in that regard, I don't have all the answers. I know that there's certain measures that were put in place, like an intimacy coordinator, right? It's huge now. That's like mandated by the unions, and the guilds, it has to be on set.
Not a thing before, or is it just used more frequently now?
No,
or
it's a requirement now.
It's a requirement.
Yeah, there's an intimacy coordinator on set.
It was an option before, and now it's a mandate.
And they've actually said, I think it was maybe Jennifer Lawrence or somebody said that it's kind of awkward having the intimacy coordinator there, because it's like, okay, we know what we need to do. This is an uncomfortable thing anyway.
Yeah.
And I have to pretend like I'm having sex with somebody. And now I have someone who's like explaining to me what we can do and what we cannot do. It's like a lot of times, like, but I think it's really,
so. It's like
right. I think
they have to be there now.
They have to be there now. Because of what's happened in the past.
So that's how it's changed in one way.
And in a positive way, I think it definitely has in that regard.
What about in the workplace? What are you seeing day to day in your world where men are I guess opposite sexes are interacting together and getting a job done every day? And
yeah, I feel like there's been a definite pullback of men where maybe they would be more open and candid and think, either with jokes or with like a pat on the shoulder type of thing.
Yeah.
Like now they're just not doing that because they're so fearful of who's going to like cancel me.
Oh, I know.
Or am I going to get reported to HR? And a lot of times, not a lot of times I should say that, but there are obviously moments where it's just super inappropriate and they need to be reprimanded.
Absolutely,
but on the other side to it, it's almost
sterile.
And then they shut down and it's like uncomfortable then for everyone else.
It's kind of sad too. And I think
really
that like
sad.
It is sad in certain ways because I think we were talking about this earlier because I feel like the pendulum kind of has swung maybe almost too far. And in certain ways, I think we feel sort of bad for some of these men.
I do.
Because they are kind of scared, and especially the ones that weren't ever treating women poorly.
Right. Yeah,
and it's like almost because of the few that are being inappropriate and like they ruin it for everybody, essentially. And I don't think that that's fair. What's happening to a lot of these men? Like,
what
and
have
that
you seen? Anne, have you seen a difference in men? Are you
Well,
feeling...
I mean, a good example would be when I was, without like, saying anything confidential, when a few years ago when the Me Too movement happened, I spoke with a higher level executive who came in and asked, has anyone said anything about me? Like, have I done anything wrong? And it obviously comes in and asks the legal department this, right? And our response was no, because the person who's asking definitely hasn't done anything wrong. Like, that's not the person who's going to ask. And this person who asked was like a wonderful, kind, like safe individual. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe the men who are actually doing something wrong are being stopped from that because they know that there are like restrictions in place and that they aren't just going to get a slap on the wrist. They can actually
it's become bigger now than just...
They can actually go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also... and to an extent, I think it's good. The dialogue is changing between men and women, like the water cooler talk, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I had maybe before the Me Too movement, where I think I had a male colleague say something along the lines of like, "What are you, like on your period or something?"
Right. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Right. And so at the time, I was kind of like taken back, but it wasn't like, I'm not going to go to HR and report you for this type of thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, kind of after this movement, it's like a dead stop. Like, hey, actually, you don't get to talk to me that way.
Right.
Right.
To me is what the change is, which is great, right? As like a woman, like that's great. Like we don't need to have our bodily functions talked about in that way.
Right.
But to an extent, then that guy he then shuts down, but then he's shutting down all the way.
Yeah.
To a degree. And he's like, well, I'm not going to say anything to anybody.
Exactly.
And it's like, is that really,
is that what we want?
Yeah, is that the way that we actually want that to be? Because then that becomes repression and our oppression.
I'm curious, girls. I've been out of the dating world for, I think 5 years. I know it's at least 4.
And we were talking about this yesterday. She keeps saying that she's really happy. And you were telling me yesterday that you thought something was really funny and that you were like talking with someone online about like jokes about your pigs. And I thought to myself,
it was not romantic at all.
I know it wasn't romantic. And I thought to myself, I'm like, she basically told me that these jokes she was making with an online stranger about her pigs was like the best day she had. And I was thinking to myself, she needs to go on a date.
Okay.
This girl.
Can I clarify? I'm backed against the wall right now, and it feels really uncomfortable. And then we're going to get to my question because it has nothing to do with me and my pigs.
Okay.
And it was TikTok, by the way. This is no online talking. I don't online talk to people, men, women, monkeys. It doesn't matter. I don't do it.
in the comments.
Okay, I'm in a comment section. She goes, I look at your social media and everything that you like is farm animals and pigs and
livestock,
puppies, and and I'm like,
really that brings you joy and happiness.
That's what brings me joy.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's where I feel safe. And so I said, it's really funny because I've been kind of in the shadows for a few years just doing me. And I said, I have this weird sense of humor now that the things that really make me giggle are the dumbest things. And this guy posted this, and he's like some farmer. I wouldn't even know how to find him. This was not even, I didn't even know it was a man posting it. It just said, it was on TikTok. And it said the top 5.
She's laughing already.
The top 5 best pets to have. Number 1, and you slide. It's a carousel, so you slide your finger, and it's number 1, a pig. Number 2, a pig. All 5 were a pig. So I go in the comment section, giggling, and I said, "Hey, what about a pig?" He goes, "This is so embarrassing." He goes, "Dang, now I have to rethink my whole list."
So she tells me, guys, she's laughing like this. She tells me this joke, and I'm literally like, girlfriend needs to go on a date.
Yes, that's what she says to me. I'm like, I said, I'm aware that I'm a weirdo, okay? But these are the things that genuinely like make me belly laugh.
I mean, but it's
that's
cute.
great.
10 years ago, it would have never even been a thing. And I'm just like genuinely laughing about the dumbest, most embarrassing things.
It's not embarrassing.
How did we get on this? Enough about
Point
me.
is, like,
Because you asked us about our dates.
And I'm so
we're deflecting
curious.
and going back.
You are. I'm so curious because I've been out of the dating world for years, and I'd say 4 to 5 years at this point. And I have been so curious for you ladies who are still like sticking in it.
Yeah.
What is it like? I mean, are you seeing that? Are you seeing that? Are you seeing this really permeate through the dating, like with men as well, where they're scared to make a move, or is sex
they are.
A little bit, yes.
Is this interaction,
Yes.
And I don't know if it's necessarily the Me Too. Maybe it is part of Me Too, but just men
in LA, definitely.
Well, because that's
it's very
But
close.
and I was having this conversation recently where men are so afraid now to approach women.
Which is
Right.
really sad.
So we
The only
are
way that
all succumb to like having to be on dating apps because men do not approach women. And why? Because women are then threatened when a man comes up to them. It's like, ew, why are they coming up to me? They're creepy. Or like they're interrupting me and my girlfriend's conversation, like, ew, get away. And so like they get rejected. And then they're like, well, why would I even approach a woman?
Yeah.
So then
hasn't that always been the case?
But it's
No,
also the fact that like we're also all on our phones now because we all are on our dating apps, right? So like I walked by a very handsome, attractive guy the other day and he was just on his phone and he was walking his dog. And I was like, I'm going to wait because I'm in high heels. Like I'm going to wait till he hears my like clicky clack heels and eventually he'll look up and see me. He didn't look until I like was walking past him and he like, I saw him look back and I'm like, no, you missed your chance, man. You were down looking at your phone.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening a lot too.
Do you think we're emasculating men? Do you think this is becoming a movement where we should be concerned at all? That I like for a man to take control. Like,
gosh, that's a big conversation.
When I say take control, I mean
men. Yeah,
I'm used
we
to
can have a whole podcast on this.
We totally could.
Yeah.
We really could. Yeah.
I don't want to get down a rabbit hole, but I like when a man makes a move or. I hate to say takes control, but you know what I mean when I say that.
Takes action.
Takes action.
That's what we want. That's a masculine energy.
It's masculine. We need
I like the masculine
and
energy.
Part of what I think it is like I think that we all as women need men to lead in the relationships, but like you and I are in these we're all in like high level roles, and I think that we do still need men to be that leader in the relationship with us. And because we are women, we need to be able to access that feminine energy. And we need men to have that masculine energy. And that's the way that dynamic actually works. And it works well. And how do we do that? How do we make men feel more masculine?
Heather, can you tell us?
I can.
Okay, here we go.
So so there's masculine energy and then there's feminine energy, right? Yeah. And the masculine energy, and it's not even, and I want everyone to kind of get away from the idea of it's about like financial security. Like to a degree, yes, but that it's not just that. What it is like there's the feminine side, and feminine energy is wild. It's spontaneous. It's airy. It's free flowing. It like you can dance with it, right? Like it's light. It's nurturing, right? And then you have a masculine energy, which is rooted. It's strong. It's in the ground, and it can hold whatever is going on here with the feminine. Wow. So when you think about structure and like financial stability or just stability of what that means, it's not necessarily the finance part of it. It's can you hold my feminine energy when my emotions are going wild and crazy? Are you able to be strong in who you are as a man?
Right.
And can you handle that? Most men
can't.
Right now, what I'm seeing is it's like they're wounded, meaning like they have so much shit going on with themselves that they can't understand what that is and know that it's nothing to do with them. It's just that's the feminine energy.
Right.
And so what happens then we get more of our masculine energy and then we start.
Is there a way, because we both, men and women, have both sides. We both have masculine and feminine energy, from my understanding, and some have more than others and all of that. What, from your perspective, can we as women do then to start bringing back that, that masculine
or
energy?
Our feminine energy.
Accessing our feminine energy, but I think with a man that we're with, how do we support or prop them up and encourage that masculine energy without it feeling mechanical or?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's a great question because I have that question. I mean, that was the biggest thing I feel in my last relationship is that I became the masculine energy because I needed to be. And I kind of created the dynamic on my own without even realizing it, because when nobody steps up to that plate, somebody has to.
Somebody has to take the lead.
And I tended to do that. And
that is my life. And I do everything. I take out the trash. I have a loaded gun beside my bed with one in the chamber.
She's from Georgia. She's going to load a gun.
That scares the shit out of me. Like,
but look, if I don't do it, who's going to do it?
Yeah.
If I don't step up,
well,
who's
that's
going to do
happens,
it? And I'm not complaining. I want that life, at least for now and for the next few years. But I think there are a lot of women who don't necessarily want that life. I've chosen that, and I'm very happy. I am happy, Anne.
I know you are. I know you are. I know
laughing
you
at silly things on TikTok. But I am. But I know that you women, my friends over here, all my women, are not really. They don't want that. It's stressful. It's hard.
No, it is. It is. I mean, but honestly, I like this is one of the things that I'm going to ask about at the end of our talk. Is like, ultimately, I think that humans want like relationships. We want interactions. We want connection. We want to feel other people. Like, I love that we have this like female camaraderie ship. Is that a word? I don't care. Camaraderie ship. Camaraderie. Correct. But I love that I have this, but I miss having like a partner that I have to go home to every day.
Interesting.
And that's in a sense why I'm looking for that, and I'm being extremely picky in what I find and what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know,
I find it interesting though that you're so optimistic about it. I'm not pessimistic about men at all. I don't need that person to be home, you know, that companionship right now.
Because you're totally fulfilled in your own life.
Yeah. And I think people close to me, and I think and being a close friend of mine as well, and you probably would agree that when I achieve some of my goals, that maybe my mind will be a little more clear and I'll have more emotional capacity. But right now, I love that y'all are standing strong and really holding your standards. Mm-hmm. The problem I feel like is if we hold our standards too high, I feel bad for my guys.
I know.
What do we do? I don't want them to get left behind.
But, like both of us like literally have our own takes on this, but I think like, so what I did was write down a list of all these different traits that I wanted in a man. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to compromise in certain ways.
Sure, absolutely.
Like, you do. And you say like, this is the perfect man that I want. But because realistically, he's going to have to compromise for your shit as well. Like, I'm not perfect. I have like issues from prior relationships. Yeah. I've been wounded by certain things. And the only way that you can actually correct those things is to be in a relationship and learn how to work through them. And I want to do that. Like, you have to want to do it.
Heather?
Well, for me, to your point,
you're in a relationship right now.
I know she is.
I want to meet him.
I know. He's very, very sweet.
Because he is somebody, what my favorite thing about him is he's able to have hard conversations with me. And we don't need to raise our voices. We don't have to have arguments. He's willing to listen and hear what I have to say and hold me when I'm like, but not that I do that, but more of just,
But to hold space for you.
to hold, like literally hold space for me to have all the emotions and then me to come back around and say like, okay, I realize that maybe that was a little crazy or whatever.
Right.
And then me also being able to say, hey, this is a trigger for me because I've been cheated on X amount of times, right?
Yeah.
So you might not be doing anything wrong, right? But it's stirring up something in me of an old behavior. Can you sit with me and help me through this versus just calling me crazy or telling me to get over it or anything like that? He's like, oh, I didn't know that about you. Let's talk about it.
It sounds like he has a really high level of emotional intelligence.
He
and
really
it's so
does.
attractive in a man.
It is.
I keep
they
he's
have
like this
that.
sweet baby angel. I adore him for you. Like I'm just so
He's
happy.
wonderful. Yeah, he
Yes.
makes me really, really happy. But it's because and I will say like the beginning of our relationship, it was a lot of hard conversations. But like now we're in the best. I don't know. It's just fun. It's just great.
Good.
It feels so healthy.
I love it. I've heard so much about him. I want to meet him, and I love it. I think in this emotional intelligence thing is such a topic right now as well. So
It really is.
It's really cool, and I'd love to hear more about that. You have to come back on. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, I know. I
And
love this.
I'm in a place where I really want to hear more of what she has to say. Heather, we always end our fun topic, our fun segment with just a question. I don't know. Sometimes they're a little provocative. Today, I like this one. What is the best neighborhood in LA, and what is the best date spot in that neighborhood?
Okay, so being of an LA, I'm third generation Los Angelino. So my grandparents grew up here, my parents grew up here, and I grew up here, right? So I know LA really well. West Side, hands down, best neighborhoods.
Yes, it
That's like Santa Monica, Venice, I would say.
It can be a little sleepy over here.
But I like it because it's like you can turn it up if you kind of want to do.
Yeah, you can.
But you're asking for
absolutely.
date nights, right?
Yeah, what's a
Yeah.
great date spot?
Yeah,
Not,
so-
not asking for me, asking for my friends.
Oh, well, yeah. So I like
To be clear,
in Venice.
I don't want to go on dates.
Noted. We'll never refer a guy to you. Never be like, I got a great girl for you. Because
She
gonna
doesn't
bite your
want to
head
go on a
off.
date with you. Yeah.
But I would say Venice, Ospey. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, Ospey's great.
That's
Yeah.
my spot.
Because you can actually hear. So I have like no hearing. I've been to too many concerts, and so that's a really good place to grab an amazing Italian food, and then you can walk around beach, or you could do like a bar scene if you wanted.
It's so close to it's
There's
so
so many
close
little
to
things
the
around, so I think
beach,
it's
and I love that. That's a great recommendation. I'll keep
Isn't
it in
it?
mind for 10
I know.
years.
I love Ospey. So we have one last question, which I kind of like wanted to do a more deeper question, and we actually talked about this the other day. So I saw this on
not a quick question,
It's not
my
really
answer.
a quick question. I know, but
Okay, but I'll make it.
so if you had to choose, Heather, long-term lust or short-term love?
So my answer is it really that I can answer that with understanding what your definition of love is. Because everyone experiences love in a different capacity, right? So
That's fair.
it's you have people where you think you love somebody, but it's actually you love the idea of how they love you versus actually loving them as a person, right? It's that you thought you loved somebody because you have oxytocin going through your body and you're like, oh my God, I'm so in love. And then like you stop that and then all of a sudden you're like, ew, I actually don't like you at all.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, to bring it full force, short-term love, hands down all the way, because as cliche as that quote is, it's better to loved and lost than to never loved at all. And so if that
absolutely.
means I have 3 months with somebody where I feel absolutely authentically me, I have full safety in showing up who I am and know that that person loves me and I don't have to worry about them. To me, like that's real love and a genuine interest in my own pursuit of happiness.
Agreed.
Then yeah, I will take that any day over lust.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
This is why I tell you I'm happy. I've had that. I had my love.
Okay, so then you say that you've had
and
it
I'm
then. So you
good.
don't
I'm
need it.
satiated. He was wonderful. I've had other loves, but I had my love of my life. And
That's amazing.
maybe he's married now and happy. I don't. Whatever makes him happy. I don't even know where he
Right?
is now.
I know.
And it was
I mean,
so beautiful.
But
and
I
it
don't
was
know.
So
There's,
wonderful.
maybe I'm just like this hopeless romantic. I believe that we have many loves.
Oh,
I
for
think,
sure.
And we have if you're lucky enough. But I think that is kind of what we're all searching for, is to feel that feeling, because you kind of love makes you crazy. And I really, really like it.
See, that's why I asked the question.
I know, right?
What's your definition?
What's your definition?
Of love?
No, but love,
because it should make you feel calm.
Right. It should make you feel calm, but it should,
or at least my definition.
Yeah, I totally agree too. I definitely think that that's what it should be. It should make you feel calm and it should make you feel safe. Yeah. But it's also a feeling of like, I don't know if you have this, even when I feel safe in a relationship, if I know that my person is nearby, I just feel like this intense feeling of love sometimes. And I think that that's actually really common, is that people don't feel love at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like, so they could feel it at a different time than I would feel it. And I remember feeling those things where I would go and be like, I just want to squeeze him and have him as close as possible to me because I just love him so much. But he doesn't feel it at the same time. And that's almost like one of the unfairnesses of life. But I think that in a way, we all want that connection and love. And
so you would say short-term love?
100%.
Yeah.
Short-term love.
I would too.
Yeah.
I've had it. It's great.
Yeah, it feels good.
You can keep the memories.
Mm-hmm. I've had it
we would turn on the music and dance through the house. It was wonderful.
Yes, exactly. Well,
Ladies,
that's a nice way to end it. We didn't talk about Luminary Soul, so you do have to come back on.
I'm going to come back.
Yes.
Give you guys some more knowledge about feminine and masculine energies.
Yes. Heather does have a really incredible company called Luminary Soul. Look it up, and we will have her back on.
I would love to come back and talk about it.
Talk about it more. Yes,
definitely. Thank you so much, Heather. This has been so much
you guys
fun
are
today.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes.
I love you. Thanks for being my friend and being my lawyer friend.
You're welcome. I
appreciate you. Can you look up some contracts for me?
Yeah, if you need me to, but not right now because it's Friday. Okay. Thanks, everybody. That's it.
If you have any questions or other topics for us, please email them to us at hello@mylawyerfriendpodcast.com.
Hey everyone, if you've made it here, you listened to the entire episode with Heather Heukrodt and my co-host Brittany Ledford, and we are so grateful that you did. And now we're going to give you a fact check section, which we will do on some of our episodes that we think need it. Just a quick little rundown to clean up anything we got wrong or didn't get to cover. Because you know that happens in episodes. You get to speak with your friend and you make mistakes. So anyway, a couple of things on this episode. First, for those of you who are just listening and not watching the visuals on Spotify or YouTube, which we think you should because they're super fun, you missed that we put up a correction around minutes 11 or 12. When I was telling my WGA story, I said I called the WGA and asked about paying an actor correctly on a production. Obviously, I meant writer. It's the Writers Guild of America, not actors. We noted on screen that it was a semantic substitution error, which is when you swap one word for another for the same conceptual category. So actor, writer, both people who work in entertainment. My brain just got jumbled and grabbed one. So, it happens. And then lastly, we didn't get a chance to talk about this during the episode, but I think it's really important to share. Heather has this new business called Luminary Soul, which I think we briefly mentioned. But if you listened to this episode and connected with Heather's insights, you are going to absolutely love her healing work even more. At Luminary Soul, she holds moon ceremonies with energy clearing, and it's been a real help for me personally, given that the last couple of years have been pretty tough for me. And I was kind of skeptical at first, but I'm not anymore. Anyway, I also wrote a Substack about it, if you happen to stumble upon MLF Sidebar on Substack. But hopefully we'll have Heather back and she can talk about Luminary Soul and also about the corporate formation process in general, which I actually helped her with as well. So please stay tuned for that. And before I let you go, if you want more from us, check out my lawyer friend resources on Substack, where you'll find guides, templates, and way more, including our Read Before You Sign series. Or head to www.mylawyerfriendpodcast.com. There are literally so many places you can get the information you need from us. So please, go to the website and we'll see you on the next episode.